Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
It is 11 o'clock. Welcome to The Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. Dusty with you, and Huss is going to be joining us. I have to do Lock Shop and two guys today from home because my kids get out of school early today, and my wife has some appointments today. So I'm going to be on daddy duty during Lock Shop and two guys. Mind you, they're 10 and 8 now. They'll watch the show. They'll have some lunch, and everything will be just okay. Glover 2 up on Connors through 15. I saw that right away today. Glover was 3 under at one point. That I was just like, damn it. I did go Connors head to head over Glover. Hammer the thumbs up if you were watching over on YouTube today as well. Huss is going to join us right away. We got a busy NHL slate we'll get to. We'll recap the NHL action last night. And obviously we will dive into this Players Championship board. It's nice being at home. I got like tons of monitors. Sepp Straka's 3 under through 14. T3 right now with Lucas Glover. Jordan Spieth has just had an absolutely insane round so far. Wyndham Clark, who I believe Huss got at 80-1 yesterday at 2 under. Will Zalatoris, who I'm not sure we've mentioned at all on the Lock Shop this year. We were on him last year a little bit, and the year before for sure. He's at 2 under through 14 as well. Huss, what's going on? Let's bring in Huss here today on the Lock Shop. Huss, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? It's like old times back in the basement.
Yeah, no doubt. What, the kids are out of school or what?
Yeah, every Thursdays they get out at like 11:30. So
every Thursday?
Every Thursday is early exit day. And so, but usually my wife has them, but she's got some stuff going on today. So one of their friends is going to drop them off at home. And every Thursday, buddy, they're off like at 11:30. And then they go for a full day on Friday. It's never made sense to me, ever as a parent. Teachers try to justify, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Where the hell was this when we were going to school?
That's what I said. I'm like, I used to go to school from 9 in the morning until just after 3 o'clock every single day, 5 days a week. And this done, like they show up, start school around 8, and they're home upstairs by 11:30.
I went till 4 every day.
Did you really? Did you start at 9 and go to 4?
Yeah.
That sucks.
We had an hour and a half for lunch.
An hour and a half?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I think these guys get like 35 minutes.
The intramurals at Brock Gordon were slamming. Did you ever play pin handball?
Pin handball? I don't think so. What's that?
Pin handball. Maybe that was just invented by like a gym teacher in our school or whatever. It was basically like handball, except you had a bowling pin at the end of each court, and you had a little semicircle around it, and you couldn't get into. Okay. You couldn't go into the semicircle, and you had to knock the pin down with the shot. That was a big intramural back in elementary. I think we probably had a ton of kids. Like we always just went home for lunch every day.
Yeah.
So I think
an hour and a half.
Probably why we were a little jealous that the kids in the French immersion got out at 3:30, but they were back in class at 1. So I don't know. I'm amazed. You just get Thursday afternoon off. Can I get Thursday afternoon off every day from?
Yeah, like, hey, when you grow up, you're just like this generation of kids is just gonna be like, wait, we have to do something Thursday afternoon? We have to work? What's this? This is insane.
I hate to tell you, but that's already here.
That is true. I was just thinking, you got me on the topic of intramurals, and like when we got to junior high school, the PHL was a big thing, the Parkland Hockey League, and it would go for about a month and a half of intramurals. And it was a major deal. The floor hockey league.
Yeah.
And they would legit do the 1 year the guy came in and took it over. He played some professional hockey overseas. His name was Kevin Yellowwaga. He's a skills coach for the Brook Bandits now, lives in Calgary, does a bunch of stuff. We had a draft of like everybody who was going to play, and it was in the gym. And there was like 10 captains up on the stage, and they drafted the entire bloody league. Like it was next level stuff. It was incredible. I won that league as a grade 8 student with a bunch of, it was grade 8, 9s, and 10s. But man, there's nothing from grade 8 to 12. I don't think there's anything I enjoyed in school, including classes, hanging with friends, other team sports. There's nothing I enjoyed more than floor hockey intramurals. It was the end all be all 5 years, grade 8 through 12.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think in high school we were done with, floor hockey intramurals, but man, in elementary.
Yeah.
Like that grade 5 and 6 year. I mean, you wanted to win the championship before you left the halls and moved on.
We took it all the way up to grade 12 and it got nasty, man. Like it was, yeah. God, those were good times.
I just can't get over that they just mail it in for a half.
Like what do you do today? They get there at 8. By the time they all do the attendance and do the intros for the day or whatever, that by then it's 9 o'clock, and you get recess still mixed in the middle. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what they accomplished on Thursdays.
It's totally real. Hey, you gotta have time for recess.
You gotta have recess. You gotta get outside, right? So
I will just say this: not having kids, but having a few friends that are teachers. I am really happy that's another reason why I live quite a carefree life, Dusty. I don't have to worry about a lot of these things that will affect and shape the future of many young minds and our country.
Yeah.
Just sort of.
Hey, we might be interrupted later on by the Marshall and the Muzz, depending on when they get home. They'll be on here too, guys.
Well,
so we'll see.
Got to come down.
Marshall actually took me for $5 the other day on a Lakers game. I can't remember which one it was. And he was all over me. He's like, the next day I see him first thing. He goes, "Hey, Daddy, you got my $5?" I was like, "No, I don't have your $5 yet." Then the next day, "Dad, you got my $5 yet?" I was like, "I'll get you $5. I don't carry around cash. Can I e-transfer you?" He goes, "I want my $5." So I eventually got him his $5.
Well, that's good. And, good for Marshall to, that's kind of a tough look. I mean, you went and made a bet and then weren't able to pay it. And that's the number one rule of the lock shop. You've got to honor your wagers. And as they say, good for Marsh for keeping the foot on the gas there too. Do we know what he bought with it?
I think he's saving it for Disneyland. We're going to Disneyland next Tuesday. So
that's why you're gone for the week.
Yeah, I'm gone for the week. So we're going down. We're meeting my mom and dad, my sister, and my nieces, and we're going to be down there from like Tuesday till Monday or whatever. And so he's been saving. Like they just had their birthdays, and some of their friends got them some American money. And then Marshall's like, "Can I take all of my Canadian money and switch it to American money?" I was like, "Not a great time to do that, buddy. Like, let's just take down what we have and we'll go from there." Like, let's. So yeah, they're very excited. It's been a lot. They're just pumped again. In Ehlers We Trust over on the Nasty Chat on UCS, pay the debt or suffer. And yeah, VR Montenegro says it's a good thing you didn't bet potato chips because that was a running bit. He bet potato chips on the Grey Cup with Eric like a year, like two Grey Cups ago, and it took him like over a year to get Eric his box of chips. And most of that was a lot on me. Like I wasn't like, "Hey, let's get these chips and go into Eric." But finally he paid up. And then the joke is that Nielsen always pays his debts. So that's what happens. Huss, what about Jordan Spieth here? What a round here for Jordan Spieth. My God, he was 3 under through 4, then gave it back with a double bogey and a bogey. And now I'm just looking and he's 3 under again. Like this has been all over the place today.
Listen, I'm sorry. I can't really focus on Jordan Spieth right now. I've got a story of
what?
I've got a couple other guys that are looking pretty good so far, so I'm not too devastated. And thank God I did not use my 30% profit boost on an outright for this individual. But I told you I was going back to the well with Justin Thomas.
I know.
So I wake up, I throw a podcast on, I'm on Twitter, whatever. I don't really get up. I've got an iPad and I'm like, you know what? Let's fire up the TV on my iPad and I'll just watch a little golf and I'll start the day slowly.
Yeah.
The first thing that I see, Justin Thomas -2 right on, playing 17. This is great. I see him putt in for double. I'm like, oh my God. So let me get this straight. I tune in just in time for all the work that he's done to go out. Follows that up by tripling 18. In the 9 holes since I turned the television on to see him at -2, he is 10 over.
I see he's 7 over right now.
It's 8 now.
Is it 8 now?
That hasn't updated yet. Just missed a 3-footer on 7 for that. So it is sad. This course is playing. Like, I was also listening to the broadcast, and they said that last year, whatever, through this many golfers, the course was playing, I think it was 65 under par.
Yeah.
And this year it was something like 85 over par.
Holy smokes.
They said like it's been like 130 or 140 shot difference. Like, that was when I was listening to it. So I didn't.
If it helps you, Huss, JT did roll in a birdie on 8. He is actually at 7 over.
So he's at 7.
Now. I just looked it up. He
turn it around.
Rolled in a birdie. But like, it's not just like JT 7 over, Max Homa is 7 over, and Victor Hovland's 8 over. Like, those are some pretty big names in the world of golf who just got absolutely torched by this golf course.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see now. Aberg could easily be like 5 or 6 under right now. He is he birdied 7 and then gave it right back on 8. So Ludwig's playing the 9th hole, his final hole. He's got 2 doubles on the card, but he's even. He's looked quite good at times.
Shane Lowry's even too right there as well.
Yep. So listen, that's fine for the first round. I mean, listen, unless Scotty goes out and drops 8 under or something like that for the first round. We'll see what happens this afternoon. A couple of the other guys that are of interest to us. Oh, Hollywood Hoagie was right up there. What happened to him? Oh, yeah, a triple bogey. Man, like, guys aren't just bogeying holes. They're getting murdered on these holes. I mean,
was it Vic Hovland who was like climbing under a tree to try to find his ball? Did you see that screen cap this morning?
No.
I think I saw that one. Yeah, they're getting torched here.
I can't say that it's
who's still to go off. Who do we have? Well, so Scotty, Rory, and Xander are at the same time. Yeah. And then Morikawa is with Adam Scott and Tommy Fleetwood.
That's the feature group this afternoon. But yeah, I mean, like right now, Alex Smalley, Lucas Glover, and Aaron Rye. The brutal thing about Glover is he's in one of our matchups, isn't he?
He's in my matchup against Corey Connors. And it was at one point, Connors was 2 under, Glover was 3 under, but now I guess he's 2 ahead of him.
Yeah, I think Corey's at 1. I'm showing right there. How about Sepp Straka, the machine?
That's what he is, man. Like I said yesterday, like he's playing better than anybody on tour so far this year, right? Like
number one in the FedEx Cup points. Did you bet an outright on him, or did you just T20?
Well, he was one of my picks yesterday, but I pretty much put the whole account into that bonus with the top 20, which is looking pretty good right now. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about the guy? What did we say yesterday? In his last 6 events, he's got a win in like 4 top 15s. Like he's an automatic top 20. And on a crazy tough day, like he's just been money all year, and he's doing it again. He
missed 1 cut, and other than that, he's been T15. Never mind T20 for better. You know, one other guy that I had thought about putting a small sprinkle on was the man of the sombrero, Joe Highsmith, that won a couple weeks ago. He's avoided any of the big numbers. He's at 2 under playing his and
Wyndham Clark, buddy. Your Wyndham Clark pick.
I do have Wyndham Clark, and you know what? I originally bet him at 40, so then I doubled down on him.
You got him at 82, yeah.
So I put it this way: financially, I am a Wyndham Clark guy this week. Even though I've got the boost on the Aberg, the number is so much better. I still can't believe Wyndham Clark went to 80. That of all the line moves yesterday, that was the one that shocked me.
Well, that's like the biggest line move we've seen, man.
It
to go from 40 to 80 is unheard of. Like some of those guys went from like 50 to 66, but 40 to 80. What the hell? I
have no idea why people would not be on him, though. I mean, like he's had a pretty solid season.
He's won some bigger events.
He was 2nd last year. He's a major champion. I mean, well, anyways, let's hope that he stays in the mix.
Rory just bogeyed 7, so he's back to 2 under now.
Who is that?
Rory. Or not Rory, Jordan Spieth.
Oh, Spieth.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Spieth's going to be a roller coaster ride for this whole thing. I mean, it'll be birdie, triple, eagle. I mean, he's I see the Gim Reaper rolled in with a birdie right.
Who's that? Patty? Is that Patty?
Yeah, Patty was on the Patty was on the Reaper. And I am on Lowry. But I mean, again, it doesn't really matter unless somehow. How many holes do we have left for Lucas Glover? Lucas Glover needs a triple.
Well, I mean, if there was ever a day to get one, it would be today.
Yeah. Bobby Mack, haven't talked a lot about him so far this year. I guess he's been playing overseas. He's at 2 under through 13. We mentioned Corey Connors, Willie Zalatoris. Looks like Wyndham just bogeyed.
Oh, yeah, he's down to 1. So does Zalatoris because he was at 2 under when we started talking to.
Again, for today, though, if you can be in red numbers or at even, I mean, I think most guys will take that for what's happening so far this year. Aberg and Lowry are even playing their final hole. Who else do we have? Nikolai Højgaard. I've got to pay attention to the Højgaards because play of the day yesterday, and I made a my biggest bet of the tournament outside of the outrights was on Ludwig to be the top Scandinavian at plus 110. You know, I like those nationality bets.
Yes, you do.
So we're in on that. I mean, so far so good, but again, lots of work to do. Sahith, 1 over. Nick Taylor, 1 over. Matty Fitz, 2 over. Coolbet's own Canadian Adam Svensson. Svenny's 2 over. So still in the mix. Michael Kim, who had been one of the hottest players coming into this, he's 3 over. Mac Hughes is 3 over after 14. Finau 4 over. What did Tony do? Did he have a couple just big blow-ups? But no, just a whole bunch of bogeys. Unlike a lot of other people. Let's see. Canadian Ben Silverman 6 over. Justin Thomas, as we mentioned, 7 over. Max Homa 7 over. Victor Hovland 8 over. Those 3 of the worst scores, 3 of the 4 worst scores are JT, Homa, and Hovland.
Like I can't remember the last time we would have said that for especially like an event like this. Like when we had 3 guys like that at the bottom of the list, like it's unheard of.
Vic has been a real disaster this year. His game, I don't know what's happened. It has completely left him. He'll get it back at some point.
Before we move over to hockey, how much do you live bet golf after like a round like today? Like, do you find some value in that, or how often?
I mean, listen, yeah. I mean, I do like to put it this way. I would not bet Scheffler at 4-1, and I wouldn't bet Scheffler at plus 550. But last year, if you remember, I did live bet Scotty when he was 5 or 6 strokes back, and then he had that insane back 9, and then I'm coming back to win the Players. Because I mean, it's really tough to. I mean, unless you want to really stake yourself with a big bet, which I mean, in golf, I always like to, put a little down, and hopefully, if you're able to manufacture it into a 10x, 20x, 30x, that's the way to do it. And that, if I recall, was like 22 or 25 for Scotty at that moment when he was back. So, I mean, post rounds, I will identify a guy or two if it's available that I think for whatever reason their score maybe wasn't indicative of how they're playing, or a guy like Scheffler where, hey, we're never going to get a better number than this. He could easily make that up in a short period of time and jump on it. I do like to hit a couple matchups. Like after the first round, you sort of see things, what's going on, the matchups often. But for a tournament like this, I have a feeling come the weekend, we'll have some live betting. So that could very well be a place. I guess I'm probably more likely to live bet it if all of my guys have had terrible first couple days and they need to get in somewhere else on it. But hopefully that won't be the case. Just looking right now, is the Players still live? Okay, no, it's just all the matchups for this afternoon in just the remaining matchups this afternoon. How about that? Rory plus 130, Scotty Scheffler minus 167. Rory's like one of the biggest underdogs on the board of any matchup today. Number 2 in the world.
Looks like Corey Connors birdied on 16. He's at 2 under.
Yes,
Lucas
Corey.
Glover's at 4 under still. So come on, Corey. Do something for me there. Need that. Bronco Nick says, oh my God, what a putt by Connors on 17. At least 50 feet. That's
nice, Corey. Hey, he played really well coming into this. I don't see any reason why. Just looking to. I don't have anything. Well, Lucas Glover. Oh, wow. Lucas Glover birdied 17. He's 5 under.
He's the leader. Lead. You know what really kind of takes me off? Because you left, I think it was last week. You had to leave on the Wednesday a little bit early. Remember, you had to show 1,000, I think it was. And I was on Lucas Glover last week as one of the longer shots. I'm gonna be pissed if he hits this week. I didn't even think about him this week, and I was on him last week. That's a bad look for me. Well, it's early, super duper early. I do like Straka sitting where he's sitting right now. That's the juiciest one of the week right now. So,
Aaron Wright, Steven Yeager. I was looking at him too. He's been really good.
We've been on Yeager earlier in the year a couple times. I think I know we've chatted about him before. So
he's been in the mix. Yeah. So, anyways, it's well underway. Feature group this afternoon. Xander, Scotty, Rory should be awesome at the Players. I was just thinking, I love this tournament. I think I love it more than a couple of the majors.
You do? Is it because it's the first taste of the year and you're just let's go?
The course is amazing. I mean, the course is amazing. We can count on the best broadcast probably of the year. Like, I know the majors flick around. Like, I love the Masters, but the Masters, we really don't get the full coverage. I mean, they're cranking it out. And you can see every shot, pretty much everything that's going on. The tour does a great job of this event. And I mean, the only thing that's missing is a few of the live guys that we now get in the majors that we don't get here. But this course is so great. I mean, finishing up, going to the Island Green, and then that 18th hole. It feels like a major to me. I know people have called it the 5th major, and some people have beef with that. Call it whatever you want. This is just about the best field in golf. Incredible venue to have it, and for fans, the broadcast is for my money one of the best of the year as well.
All right, let's slide over to the National Hockey League. Hey, if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can fire us a text 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us and sub to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to dive into the NHL tonight, but first let's talk NHL last night. People in Edmonton not dealing very well with the Buffalo Sabres, who just beat them, getting absolutely pumped by the Detroit Red Wings. They're like, Oilers forwards couldn't score a goal against Buffalo. Detroit goes and hangs 7 on them. The Kraken score 4 seconds into overtime.
Crazy.
To beat the Habs. And then the Flames and Canucks. You must have watched a good chunk of that Flames-Canucks game last night.
I did. You know what? I'll give it to Vancouver. Obviously I was pulling for Calgary because we had them on the parlay, but that team has a lot of fight. But to me, I mean, once again, Quinn Hughes.
Good point.
He took over that game, and you saw that cheap shot Lombard gave him.
Yeah, I was watching the game when that happened. I was like, oh, man.
Like, Lombard is such a rat. You'd love to have him on your team, but he went and took that shot, took the penalty, and then, like, Quinn Hughes is a pretty quiet, flatline dude. So when he's sort of getting in guys' faces and yelling at them afterwards, you know that there's a lot of juice in the game, and you know that they've done something to get him going. And I really think that they did. He is, and you know what? We had an Elias sighting as well.
Scored in the shootout and in the third.
Paterson.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a real good news night for the Canucks, coming off a night where you had to feel like they left 2 on the table against the Montreal.
Well, I watched the second period, and then I had to do a card break last night, so I didn't watch the third. But shots were 17-4 in the third. Like, did the Canucks just take over that hockey game?
They played like a team that was playing for their playoff lives. So you know what, Rick Tocchet, that's one other story, and I was listening to Rick Dhaliwal speak yesterday. That we haven't talked a lot about it. What do you think the chances are that Rick Tocchet is the coach of the Vancouver Canucks next year?
I know. I hadn't thought about that really.
He has no contract.
Yeah.
He won the Jack Adams last year.
So you think he just leaves? You think he's just like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Here? Yeah.
Like he hasn't really wanted to engage with another contract. Like with,
I mean, if he does leave, he gets scooped up in the offseason hiring. Like
and he doesn't have to deal with all the bullshit in Vancouver.
And he's probably one of the top targets, if not the top target, come head coaching cycle, type of thing. I mean,
there's a lot of teams that if they wanted a guy to come in and really establish, I think a culture and a type of team that can, be playoff tough, emulate their coach, that's Rick Tocchet. But between the media in Vancouver, which is kind of unique, maybe not quite at Edmonton level, but it's up there. The fan base is way more insane. Like I will put Vancouver's fan base up.
They're
might be number one on the power pool of just complete nut bars.
We saw it last year in the playoffs, man. Our chats were, I mean, it was ridiculous. So and actually, Sobkirk's asking you right now over the chat here, Huss. Would you rather have the Jets play in the first round, Vancouver or Calgary? Vancouver might be a little bit cheeky, and you would have to deal with those fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little like, okay, if you're a big favorite, how can you lose? You can lose to a team that has a really, really hot goalie. I think of all the goalies, Wolf getting hot is probably the one that concerns me the most. Like, I still don't think Calgary can score enough to beat Winnipeg. And the JT Miller trade for me with Vancouver took like he in a lot of ways was the heart and soul of that team. When you look back at last year, I mean, he was the guy that was seemingly driving everything. And the way that Paterson, last night's game notwithstanding, has responded to all of this has been terrible. So I do actually think, I mean, to be honest, of all of those teams, like let's just, while we look at the standings here, a little update, Ski. The St. Louis Blues, if the Blues are 2 back of Calgary and 2 back of Vancouver, Calgary has 1 game in hand on St. Louis. They played even games with the Canucks. Oh, and Utah's there too with their win last night. You got 4 teams within 2 points of each other.
It's a legitimate race now. Like
it absolutely is. It's funny. I think St. Louis or Utah might actually scare me the most. I mean, listen, if St. Louis gets on a heater and it's all Binnington coming in, I mean, we know what Binnington's capable of doing. Like, I don't really like the rest of their team very much. I don't believe in Kyrou or Thomas as, the top dogs
like
there.
To carry a team,
and I'll say this about Utah, and I don't know how much you've seen them this year.
Not much.
They have played the Jets. Like, I think the Jets won both the games. Well, they did lose in Utah, and Arneal hated that game. That was the game right before they won 8 in a row. But when we've seen them play, I give a lot of credit to Tourney. I mean, it kind of felt like playoff games. There wasn't a lot to give either way, and the games were really close. And they've got that Vejmelka. And Vejmelka started off, like, when people started hearing about him, like, he made 50 saves against the Jets in 1 game. Again, this is a couple years ago. But that being said, I'd rather play all of those teams more than probably Minnesota, who's likely going to be the first wild card.
Yeah.
And certainly more than Dallas or Colorado in our division. We're going to be talking about this on WST tomorrow. Huge game here in Winnipeg.
I see somebody just say, in Ehlers we trust, Rupe Hintz avoids face fracture. Out a week, though.
Yeah, no Rupe Hintz, which is nice. And Heiskanen's out right now as well. But I was just diving into, like, the money puck stats. And say what you will about the Stanley Cup. I mean, I don't know what about those, the numbers to actually win the cup, because then you're talking about playoff series. But their numbers are quite good as far as the importance of games to winning the division, to making the playoffs. And this game tomorrow night has a 20% swing to winning the division.
No way.
If the Jets can win this game tomorrow against Dallas, they'll be 10 points up. Dallas will still have the 2 games in hand. If it goes the other way, you can end up being only 6 up and Dallas have 2 games in hand. And I think
that's a big one.
If the Jets win tomorrow, the chances of winning the division are more than 20% higher than if they lost. So that is going to be a big one tomorrow. Definitely. And we'll lock into that one here in the Lock Shop. Jets will be a slight favorite, I think, as usual. And Hellebuck's speaking today, so we're going to get to that on the program as well. But big slate of games tonight, and a number of those teams that are
some big ones tonight, man. Some big ones for sure.
Various situations in both conferences playing for it. By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
How about that game? Speaking, I mean, we can talk about the teams that are playing for their playoff lives. Much like the Central Division, is the Jets trying to hold on to first. The 3-way race in the Atlantic with the Leafs and the Panthers and the Lightning is going to come right down to the wire. Huge game tonight for Jake's Leafs as they are home to the Florida Panthers, and a home dog too, plus 118 for Toronto at home. Panthers and Lightning both lost in regulation their last time out. Leafs, of course, won in that shootout thanks to Mitch Marner on Monday night. So, with the Leafs, 2 back of Florida right now with a game in hand.
This is a massive game.
You win this game in regulation, and again, there'll still be 16, 17 games left. But I mean, the difference between being tied and being 4 back with that much road left, a big one. I wonder how Jake's feeling. Oh, he's nervous.
He said he's nervous.
And Tanev is a game time decision. He's a huge piece of the puzzle. Yeah, no, I'm here for you.
Keep tabs on that. It'll be Anthony Stolarz for the Leafs tonight against Sergei Bobrovsky. Let me run you through the rest of the goalies here. Samuel Ersson will start for Philadelphia. Jonas Johansson for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Tristan Jarry confirmed for the Penguins. Binnington unconfirmed for the Blues. Bruins and Sens. That's a big game. Allmark will start for the Sens. He was excellent last time out. Jeremy Swayman will go for the Bruins. The Blue Jackets. Merzlikins gets the start. Aiden Hill listed as likely for the Golden Knights. The Devils looks like they're going to be starting Jake Allen tonight against Edmonton. Stuart Skinner unconfirmed at this moment. Gustafsson confirmed for the Wild. They're at home against Shesterkin and the Rangers. And then the one game that nobody cares about tonight, the Blackhawks and Sharks. Soderblom versus Georgiev, maybe, don't care. And then Washington and Los Angeles. It's listed right now as unconfirmed for Charlie Lindgren and Darcy Kemper. So that's what we've got in the crease tonight, Huss. What do we have for the odds here? What do we like? What are we looking at?
You know what? Just before we do, I just want to see Florida. They're still without Matthew Tkachuk. Brad Marchand, I guess, is he day-to-day right now? Well, he's already out.
I feel like if it would have been announced, we would know, right?
They're without Aaron Ekblad tonight. I think I might ride with the Leafs tonight in this game. For Hagee and Reinhart with Barkov, Bennett in between Rodriguez and Samoskevich, Lundell, Boqvist, Lusterine. And again, these are good players. I mean, most of them won a cup last year. And then Nico Sturm with Thomas Nosek and AJ Greer. Like, this is a long way off from the top Florida team.
It's true. I mean, with that being said, in their last 7 games, last 7 games, they had won 6 in a row, then lost that tight one to Boston, which they were leading 2-0. But in those last 7 games, they've only allowed 8 goals. They allowed 1 to Nashville. The Oilers scored 3 on them. They shut out Calgary. They held Tampa to 1. They shut out Columbus. They shut out Buffalo. And then the Bruins, I think, scored 3 in the third period to come back and win that game. So they have been stingy. And the loss of Ekblad is eased a bit because they do have Jones now on that right side, which, that does help them a little bit there. So, but I get what you're saying. I mean, this is not the Florida Panthers that you would be predicting to take a deep run at the Stanley Cup again for sure tonight against Toronto.
Yeah, like put it this way. If those three guys were off and weren't coming back, this team would not be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. They'd be kind of middle of the pack, I would say. I mean, especially Kachuk and, of course, Ekblad, and we haven't seen Marchand yet. But anyways, we can leave that one out. That's sort of a tougher play. I love Ottawa tonight. I mean, I know Boston had that nice win against the Panthers in their last time out. But I think Ottawa keeps rolling. Got Vegas in Columbus. Vegas is in a weird spot right now. They just went to overtime and lost to Pittsburgh. Huge game for Columbus. I mean, Columbus has been so good at home this year. Haven't been particularly good on the road. They're 26-4 at Nationwide Arena, 11-19-4 on the road. And the Golden Knights are basically a middling team, 14-12-4 away. I have a hard time betting against Vegas just in a matchup like this because I do think that they're better. But I'll tell you what, I would not be eating the -189 on Vegas on the road for sure. And I maybe I'll do a little underdog parlay with the Leafs and the Blue Jackets tonight. Tampa, do we think Tampa bounces back against Philly?
I mean, I was looking at
it.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So Tampa's lost their last two, Carolina and Boston. They're going to be thinking, Florida and Toronto are going to beat the crap out of each other tonight. Like, this should be an easy 2 points against Philly. Philly's lost 5 in a row, and all 5 were by 2 or more. Like, Philly hasn't been in it for 2 weeks. So, no. I mean, even without Vasilevsky, I don't hate Tampa. And I think the -154 number is reasonable without Vasilevsky. So, I mean, Philly is out of it. And like I said, they lost 6-3, 4-1, 4-1, 3-1, 5-2. They haven't even been close in these games. So I do like Tampa tonight to get it done. We were trying to make that case for them, where we did against Carolina. Backfired. They ended up losing that game. But I don't think they dropped 3 in a row here, and to a Flyers team that can't get out of their own way right now.
Maybe the most interesting game on the board is a straight up pick 'em. Rangers and Wild. We saw the Rangers here on Tuesday night. They played Winnipeg, so a short flight to the Twin Cities. They had yesterday off for to practice. They haven't confirmed Shesterkin, but they're expecting him to go. I'd expect him to go in most of their games the rest of the way, considering where they are. Now, the Wild are a team we've sort of been thinking, okay, when are they going to fall off? Heck of a performance last Tuesday to hold Colorado just to the 1 goal. I don't know, man. The Rangers, like, Minnesota's pretty much in. The Rangers are out right now, and who else? The Rangers need to jump. Like, it's just the Habs right now. Hard to believe they're 1 point behind the Habs. That is wild. I don't know. I think I might lean Rangers on this.
Yeah, the Rangers are into, like, they've lost 4 in a row. The Rangers can't let this slide continue much longer. Prior to Winnipeg, they lost to Columbus 7-3, and then a couple of overtime games to Ottawa and Washington. Like, they need to get this done tonight. I know Miller Time 1980 over in the chat says Minnesota at home, take them, but Minnesota's been a road team this year. Minnesota's 22-10-3 on the road. They're just 15-4-1. They're like a 500 hockey team at home here. So I don't know if that really factors into it. Rod Z says the Wild have won each of their last 7 night games against the Metro Division opponents. I mean, to me, that's something that's going to have to pop here at some point. I like the Rangers with you. I mean, did I say Shesterkin? Was it just likely at this point, or was it unconfirmed?
It was unconfirmed, but I mean... Okay.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't go here.
No, exactly. No, what about Washington? LA?
Whew, man, you don't see a team as good as Washington as a dog pretty much anywhere. And they are tonight plus 111. It did say, I think it was Charlie Lindgren listed as unconfirmed at this point. So it's not Logan Thompson. And the Kings are money at home. Like, I don't know. I may stay away from this one tonight, but the Kings are, what are they at home? Let's see. It's something.
They're 21-3-4.
Yeah, they have 3 regulation losses. at home, which is why they're a minus 130 favorite here against one of the best teams in the league.
And listen, the Kings are pushing right now. Vegas hasn't been doing. I mean, Vegas has lost 2 in a row. The Oilers are 3-7 in their last 10. They're 1 back of Edmonton with a game in hand.
If the Kings win tonight and the Oilers lose, buddy, tomorrow morning is going to be full blown meltdown on the station. It's not going to go over well at all.
Well, I mean, and then I was going to bring up the Oilers as well. I do like the Kings in that best, like right there with the best home teams in the entire league. What's the feeling about the Oil tonight?
Impossible to have a feeling about the Oilers, man. Like I cannot get this team might be the most confusing team I've seen in the last little while. Like with this organized, like they've been playing awful. They look brilliant against Dallas, and they let it slip a bit in the third. But you're thinking, okay, well now you get Buffalo, build off this Dallas game, and they go out and can't finish to save their lives. So they've had 2 days off. So the 2 days off, I mean, New Jersey, Dougie Hamilton's out for the year. They don't have Hughes. Jake Allen's going to start. I think Allen's played okay against the Oil. But I don't know. I mean, I stay away from it for the parlay. I'll say that. And on the EST parlay today, I did not include the Oilers winning in this hockey game. The EST parlay tonight is a Draisaitl goal, McDavid over 2.5 shots. He's hit that in 4 of his last 5 games. A Bouchard point. And then I actually, for the first time all season, I threw Kapanen to not have a point into the parlay. Absolute non-factor.
I was wondering what that comment was in the group chat.
Yeah. So Kapanen to not have a point tonight. If he gets a point and that's what costs us the parlay, I'm going to explode tomorrow morning on the show. Like, that'll be ridiculous.
Watch him score the winner late.
Lucas Glover 6 under. 6 under. He's done. He's in the clubhouse. He's 6 under. Wow.
We don't need to worry about our matchups today.
Yeah. All right.
What do we think about Ottawa money line, Rangers money line, Kings money line, plus 412 before the boost?
Okay, say that again? Sorry. What you
Senators money line over Boston, Rangers money line over Wild, Kings money line over Caps, plus 412.
I was going to say that's a good number then. Yeah,
you'll get it over plus 450.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that, buddy. We can definitely do that.
All right. I think Jake's still kicking in the chat. So there you go. Kings, Rangers, Sens. That is what we're throwing in for it. Right. Rod Z. When playing against a team with a winning record, the Rangers are 4-10 on the road. I got to tell you, this is more of a gut play. I mean, it's a coin flip. It's a pick 'em on either side. I just think that the Rangers will find a way to win. And we've got Kapanen needs to get waived.
Oh, Kapanen! Yeah, I haven't even called.
Did they trade for him? Did they pick him up?
He was a waiver claim, buddy. Yeah, he's played all over the place. He's played with Draisaitl. He's played with McDavid. He's been healthy scratch. He's played center. They don't have centers that they want to play on the fourth line. So he's played center. He was scratched last game. Janmark looks like he's out, so he's going to slide. But he looks like a waiver claim. You know what I mean? Like, kills penalties for them, but their penalty kill sucks. Like, it's just, I don't know. We'll see. Timmy Two Shoe. Is Timmy Two Shoe, is that a WST guy, Huss? Timmy Two Shoe?
Two Shoes?
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen him as an EST guy.
I'm familiar with him from the Lock Shop. I'm not sure.
I mean, me too. Only Lock Shop. Anyway, he says Draisaitl and Ovechkin for a bajillion on my parlay. So he's got Draisaitl scoring tonight and Ovechkin scoring tonight. Ovi did not score against Anaheim, and they scored 7, and he did not score against Anaheim. So we'll see what happens. What have the Kings been doing for goals against lately? Let's see here. Los Angeles. They won 4, and the Kings have won 3 in a row. They allowed 1 goal against the Islanders. They gave up 5 to Vegas, allowed 1 against St. Louis, allowed 3 against St. Louis. And then prior to that, gave up 5 against Chicago, 4 against St. Louis, 6 against Dallas. So, I mean, they're not airtight. So maybe Ovi gets 1 tonight. And Dubois, of course, PLD in the classic revenge game against the Los Angeles Kings. That would be his return to LA.
For sure.
Yeah, he would not
Great
have been there
point.
since.
That's the only time they'll be there all
Yeah.
year. Oh, I can't wait for the tribute video. Hopefully they'll post that. Hopefully they'll post that. The tribute video of Dubois just kind of like gliding back to the bench, looking around.
Just straight up float for 2 minutes.
Hey, credit to him for figuring it out and realizing that, he needed to be far more of a professional, and he's been that this year. But yeah, I don't know whether they'll be rolling out the red carpet for Mr. Dubois for this game tonight. As far as the exclusives go, or the combo cards, McDavid point, Marner point. That was the same super boost that we had 2 nights ago, which I bet on.
Was it not Marner and Draisaitl?
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, sorry.
Whatever.
Right.
I mean, same thing.
Bottom line, it was free money because those guys are getting points. That's the plus 107. Still got it. Crosby to get an assist against St. Louis. Ovi to score against the Kings. That's plus 449. Ovi's not in the Lamplighters tonight. I thought it might be. It's Pasta. It's Austin Matthews. It's Leon Draisaitl. That's just about 10-1 at plus 939. The Dish and Dimes. Assist totals. Eichel over a half. Luka Doncic, your guy, over 7.5. McDavid to get an assist. And Stephen Curry over 5.5. That's an interesting one. If you want to get a little basketball and hockey in together, that's plus 542. Points for the point tonight. This is one of my favorite routine combo cards. Werenski, Hedman, Bush, plus 388. Oh, Patty's got into the mix here with the
Patty knows puck. Look at this.
Patty knows puck. He was early. He was up super early watching the golf. He's like, okay, I'm going to squeeze out a Patty knows puck today. Nylander over half a point. Ovi over 3.5 shots, plus 254. I'm going to ride with Patty on that. I will ride with Patty on that. And then the Curling Nation one. This is one for the future, but Canada to win the men's and women's worlds boosted a plus 479. Rachel Holman, I think, is a lock to do that. The question is whether the Jacobs rink can beat Bruce Mouat. It's kind of weird how the top world teams are now not really Canadian. But Jacobs is playing great. They'll have a chance to win. But anyways, lots of hockey for you in the combo cards right now for tonight. And then that EST. I love this. Draisaitl a goal. McDavid 3 or more shots. Bouchard to get a point. Kapanen under 0.5 points.
It's time to start calling out the bottom 6, even in bets, Huss. That's what it is. Hey, I just see Bronco Nick over the chat says Raheem Mostert going to Vegas to join Zamir White and Sincere McCormick in their backfield. Of course, the draft can still change that as well, but decent little pickup. I like when Raheem Mostert can stay healthy. He's still not bad. And we did talk about it yesterday, Huss, but what do you think of like Justin Fields landing in Pittsburgh? Darnold goes to Seattle.
Well, he's in the Jets.
Oh yeah, Jets. Sorry, did I say Pittsburgh? Yeah, from Pittsburgh to the Jets. What'd you think of the quarterback movement? It was on my list of things to discuss yesterday, but we didn't get to it.
Listen, Sammy Dart's getting $100 million in Seattle. It's interesting to move off Geno for Sam.
Yeah.
I think where they are right now, especially trading DK. I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of pressure on them to not, completely, reverse back to a 5-12 team or whatever. But I mean, Darnold had such a great season up until those final 2 weeks. I think that they can be confident that he'll be able to make it happen. The big thing for Seattle, though, is going to be the draft because they have a ton of picks. Part of what they've done with these trades with Geno and with DK Metcalf, I think they've got 5 picks in the first 90, if I heard correctly, earlier this week. So we'll see. I mean, the Justin Fields to New York Jets is... I guess it's good for Fields. He's going to get a chance to play. I'm really not sold on him as a starter. He can make some exciting plays. He'll get you some rushing yards in fantasy. But to me, this seems like a rebuilding. The one thing this might do for the Jets is make them bad enough to be at the front of the line for quarterbacks the following year. Kind of like what they were when they drafted Darnold a few years ago. Nothing's really changed with the Jets. The big thing is that Rodgers is a free agent now officially after the Jets cut him. And I'm hearing more and more about this Minnesota opportunity. You would think that if he wanted to go to Pittsburgh, which I think is the best chance to win right now and be a starting quarterback unequivocally for the entire year, is to go there. I am sort of pulling for the Packers circle of life to come through. I saw someone going, you know what? I may as well just buy my Jordan Love Jets and Vikings jerseys now, because you know how this is going to end.
That is a funny one.
If this is going to
end. What are you doing with JJ McCarthy? I mean, if you bring in a veteran guy that you can give a couple games to, and then you plan this, Aaron, I think that would be a horrible idea.
Well, here's the thing. And it all depends on what Rodgers' mindset is going in. If he's listen, I think Jordan Love benefited big time from playing behind Rodgers for a few years, much like Rodgers did with Favre. It's not the worst thing to have a rookie quarterback not get rushed into it. And let's face it, he was hurt all of last year. He was going through practices and just on a VR cam that they put on Darnold's helmet. There's still concern with the severity of his injury as to when he'll be ready to play. He's not doing the summer OTAs. So if Aaron Rodgers came in onto the Vikings and was able to, win some games early and make them competitive, I wouldn't see a rush to put JJ McCarthy in. In fact, I think the long-term benefits might be for him playing under Rodgers for a year. Sooner or later, you're going to have to get him in. But remember, he was really, really young too. He was drafted, I think he was just 20 or maybe 21. So yeah, your first 2 years of the rookie contract, he won't be playing. But I think that the Vikings could be more competitive. I'll tell you what, you don't think Rodgers would like throwing to Addison and Justin Jefferson? And
yeah, I just don't know how much game there is left there. I mean, this is not Aaron Rodgers from 4 years ago. He had Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams to throw to last year and didn't do shit with it.
Well, the great thing is, if he sucks, then you just go and play JJ.
Yeah, I guess, but then you've got this Aaron Rodgers thing hanging around your organization, which is the last drama that you want.
It's a 1-year deal. It'll be a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And who knows if it goes well and maybe he wants to still be around in football. I have a hard time seeing him ever really agreeing to be a backup.
Yeah.
But he's still hanging around right now on the other side of 40. So maybe. And I will say, I mean, I watched Brett Favre as a 43-year-old throw 34 touchdowns and 7 picks and take them to the conference championship game in a game they should have won. So I will not rule out Aaron Rodgers being able to go in and do that. I like his chances to win with the Viking team, probably even better than Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh's intriguing now because if you bring him in, you got DK Metcalf, you've got George Pickens, you've got TJ Watt and a great defense. So maybe that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that, why hasn't that happened yet? You think Pittsburgh's just not hot and horny for it? And they're just
no, apparently they are. I mean, the two teams that have been in on Rodgers have been the Pittsburgh and the Giants. And if those were your only two options, I think it's a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, I mean, it should be an automatic.
But Rodgers is a drama queen, and he's not going to make any quick decisions. He's going to make us all talk about him for a while and see what he's doing. He loves this. But I would say it's going to come down to Minnesota or the Pittsburgh Steelers. And who knows, maybe there, let's see, is there any NFL? Just looking to see if there's any the NFL specials right now. Oh no, we don't have a Rodgers. Who will he sign with? We do, however. It's a fun way to finish up the show. The one NFL special right now. Who will perform the Super Bowl halftime show? Great work, guys. Miley Cyrus 5-1, Chapel Roan 6-1, Oasis plus 650, Christina Aguilera and Sabrina Carpenter plus 850, Metallica 10-1, Dua Lipa 10, Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish 11, Post Malone at 14-1. Post Malone 14-1.
Yeah, I was just gonna Post Malone's gonna get a halftime show at some point, isn't he? Like
Taylor Swift 16. She's too big. She's not, especially after she got booed at the playoff game. She's saying, screw that. NFL fans don't deserve her. Only Chiefs fans. Ed Sheeran, Bieber 18, Teddy Swims 21.
How does Robbie Williams even get on the board at 60-1? Like, where'd that come from?
I'll be honest, I didn't know. Foo Fighters 41-1.
Yeah, I mean, even
Foo Fighters, didn't Dave Grohl is laying low, right? Because he impregnated, I think, like a 19-year-old.
Yeah, they were doing. He was drumming at the SNL 50 thing for that Post Malone Nirvana sort of tribute.
Yeah.
So he was around. He was around there. But
I haven't seen him in front of a microphone lately, though. After the like the infidelity is a bad enough look as it is, but once we heard that the mother of his latest child was barely 20.
Yeah, not a good look.
I think that rubbed a few people.
Why is Oasis so high on this list?
Well, because they just got back together. They're doing all these massive shows, selling out every stadium this summer.
Okay. I'm like, this is Oasis from when I was like a teenager and stuff. I'm like, okay. I didn't realize that they were back together.
Oh my God, dude, that was crazy. People all around the world are trying to get. Now, I mean, listen, I think this is a little bit nostalgia. I was surprised at the demand myself, but I mean, they were so huge in Europe.
Yeah.
And so they put those shows on, everyone bought them. And then they said, okay, well, the Liam and Noel, we may hate each other, but we love money more than we hate each other. So let's play some more shows. I think they're coming to Toronto. But as I say, Metallica would be the greatest choice. It was BS that they didn't get to play in Santa Clara. And now this is coming back to Santa Clara. That was, I told you this story, but I mean, there was a huge push because they are from San Francisco, one of the biggest exports ever, to have Metallica doing the show. And the NFL said no. So Metallica went and played a concert at the Giant Stadium at Pac Bell Park the night before the Super Bowl. I bought a single, went to it. Incredible. And they called it Too Heavy for halftime.
Oh, great. Great handle. That's awesome. Yeah.
If you want to see it, that is the full show is on YouTube. If you're a Metallica fan, that is definitely one. It was both split between people in for the show and hometown Metallica fans.
So we got to get going here. Your show starts in 2 minutes, and we got two guys in goalie coming up as well. We kind of got carried away today. So all right, there you go. Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop. Two guys in goalie is going to be starting up in less than 5 minutes. WST is going to get rolling here in a couple minutes as well over on the Winnipeg Sports Talk channel. What are you laughing at?
Bronco Nick, wife wants to go to Oasis. I said, sure, go alone.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.